So welcome everyone on this channel named Gaurav Kumar Jain, and thank you very much to all the students who are liking the videos and who are sharing the links of the videos in their groups. Thank you very much for that. Now in today's lecture we are going to develop a writing pad, okay, on this app lab using the basic features that are available to us over here. Sorry. Now I'm already done with the designing parts. This is the first screen that we will be using for providing the rights of signing in to the various users who will be using the app, using this app. Now there are three more screens besides this screen one which I have defined for this app. So the first one is this colors. Okay, now with the help of this colors screen, a person can select the colors from for this drop down which is available to us on this main screen. Okay, then on this, with this family named screen, a person can select the font family for this drop down which is available to us over here, for this drop down which is available to us over here on this main panel. Okay, and after that he can use this main panel for writing down something over here and modifying the view of the text which is going to get reflected in this writing pad, and also he can change the color, the background color of this writing pad. Now we are going to start with defining the code for this screen one first. So as you guys already know that I have used this image, I've got this image from Google Images, and the thing that you have typed over here on this in the search bar of Google for finding out this kind of image is sign in, sign up mobile screens. So something like this if you'll type over here and you'll come on this Google Images. So these are a couple of beautiful images you're going to come across. Okay, so you can make use of any of these images, and then you can import it in the Applab, and using an image button you can get it reflected on this mobile simulator the way I'm showing you right now on this screen. Okay, now there are three components which I've defined on this image button. The first one is an input box with ID email, and then there is one more input box with ID password, and then there is a button, then there is a label box, sorry, with ID login. Now when the user will hit this login button after entering family in these two fields, I would like him to get redirected on this family named screen. Okay, in case he enters colors in both that email as well as password field, I would like him to get redirected on this beautiful color screen. And if he enters main in password as well as email field, I would like him to get redirected on this beautiful main panel. Now keeping these things in mind, we are going to define the code for this login button. Let's select this uneven block and place it inside this workspace. Now what is the idea of this login button? It is login, so we need to select login from this first drop down. Where is that? I'm searching for login. Yeah, this is the one. So when the user will hit this login button, let's put a check on these two components using if control statement. So I am going to make use of this if loop, and I'm placing it over here inside this uneven block. And for getting the text which the user is going to input here in this first field email, I can make use of this get text property, right? Now if the input is family, F is in capital of family. Okay, if the idea of this component is email. So if the user will enter family, F in capital of family, remember this thing, F is in capital of this family, Now if the user will enter family in this email field, and if he enters the same thing in this password named component also, then I would like him to get redirected on this family name screen. So for doing that, we can make use of this set screen block. Okay, and then here we can pass the name of this screen as an input to this block. So it is family. Okay, fine. Now in order to make it more interactive, you can add some sound to it. Either you can go for this play sound, either you can go with this play sound block, or you can make use of this play speech block. It is totally your call. So I prefer play speech over play sound because I like it more, maybe that's why. Okay. So once the user is done with entering family in both the email as well as password field, and after that when he will hit that login button, so he's going to get redirected on this family screen, and I would like this thing he should hear from the background of this screen. Welcome to font welcome to family screen. You may add font family families from here. Okay, so this is what the user is going to hear. Fine, now I'm going to copy this whole thing and put it just below this if loop. So here I am going to make use of else keyword. Now if this condition is not true, okay, and the user instead of entering family will enter color in these two fields, so I would like him to get redirected on this beautiful color screen. So that's how I can do it. Now welcome to colors screen. You may add colors from here. Okay, so that's what the user is going to hear in the form of speech. Now I am going to copy this whole thing and place it over here. So as you can see, I have made use of 3 different if loops. Why? Because we have 3 different screens. Okay, now here if the user will enter main, M in capital of main, if the user will enter main in the email as well as password field, I would like him to get redirected on this main screen. So that's how I can do it. Welcome admin on the main screen. This is what the user is going to hear when he will come on this screen. Okay, fine. So we are done with defining the required code for this button over here. Now let's add a sound also to this on-even block. So as to make it more interactive or interesting, you can say, for the user. Let's come down, and here I am going to select a sound from the sounds library of Applab, and I'm going to make use of this third sound. Yeah, it's pretty nice, so I'm making use of this. I'm done with adding that sound. Okay, so let's come on this color screen first. So how I have designed this color screen, that's what I would like to tell you first. So there is an image button which I've placed on this mobile simulator screen. Okay, and on that image I've imported, so this image is getting reflected on that image button, right? Now how I have got this image, let's check it out. So you have to come on this Google Images and you can type something like this: painter with paint board clip art. So these are couple of good images you're going to come across. So if you want, you can go for this one also. This is also a very beautiful image that you can make use of for that colors named image. Then this is also a very beautiful image, right? So you can make use of this image also, this is also a very beautiful image, right? But remember the name, these keywords, okay, with which you can find these kind of images. Now let's come back on this app lab. Now what I have done, after putting this image on this image button which is there on this mobile simulator screen, I have defined some label boxes here on this paint plate, the plate which this boy is handling. So I have defined some label boxes on these paint plate. Now the name of this label box is green. Similarly, there is one more label box with ID yellow. Then there is one label box with ID blue. Then there is one label box uh, with ID red. Okay, so I have defined 4 label boxes over here. If you want, you can define more based on your requirement. Let's come on this coding panel, start coding start defining the required code for these label boxes. Now if suppose the user want to add some color to this drop down, okay, drop down 2 of this main panel through this colors screen, how can he do that? So what he can do, if suppose he want to add this green color, so he need to tap on that green color first. Now as soon as he will tap on this green named label box, so what should happen? That's what I'm going to define inside this uneven block. Let's first select the ID of this green named ID. I'm converting it into text-based coding. So when the user will hit this green named label box, I would like a table to get created on the data browser connected to this app. So for that we can make use of this create record block, and here I am going to make use of, let's replace the name of the table with colors. So table with name colors is going to get created, in which I would like to have a column with name color. And from where can I get the value of this color? If suppose the user will hit this green named ID, I would like this color to get added to this table named colors. Okay, so that's how I can do it, right? And besides, I would, in order to make it more interactive, we can add a speech also to this uneven block. Let's make use of that play speech block. Where is that? Yeah, this is the one. So you added the green color successfully. So this is what the user is going to hear after successfully adding the green color, okay, to this colors named table. Now how can we get this option reflected in real time on this main panel which the user is going to access on some other device? So as you guys very well know about this thing, we are going to make use of this on record event, right? Because if you want to get something in real time from any table present on the data browser based on some event driven method, event driven thing, so the best way is to make use of this on record event. Now where is the things changing? What are the things, from which table you would like to fetch the records? I would like to fetch the records from this colors named table. So we need to replace this my table with colors. Now what kind of event is taking place at this colors named table? So record is getting created, right? So that is the reason event type will be create. Okay, you need not to make any changes over here. Let's eliminate everything, whatever we have inside this if loop. Now we need to first read the what we call options which are there available in this color named column which is present in this colors named table. Now if suppose there are 2 or 3 or more than one colors, so how can we fetch all the names from that color named column and get them reflected as an option for this drop down 1, or sorry, drop down 2, right? That's what we have to check out. How can we fetch all the colors from this color named column which is there in this colors named table, and get the same reflected in the options section of this drop down tool. So for doing that, we can make use of this read records block, right? Because it helps us in fetching, or you can say reading the records from a particular table. Now let's replace this my table with colors. Okay, I'm done with that. Now let's eliminate everything whatever we have inside this for loop. In order to, now what we are trying to do, see, if suppose there are more than 2 colors, so it means that we are trying here, we would like to, we are trying to fetch more than one information in one go. You know, we are trying to fetch more than one record in one go. So how can we do that? As you guys very well know about this thing, if you have seen my previous lectures where I have made use of, where I've showed you how you can make use of list type of variables to fetch more than one records from a particular table, then you will be able to understand this code which I am going to define now. So here I am going to define now a list, a collection type of variable. So this is the name with which I'm defining a variable, and so now it is a list type of variable. Why? Because I have placed these two brackets, I have assigned it with an empty list. Okay, now I would like to append all the names of all the colors to this color named variable. For doing that, we can make use of this append item property, and because I want to append all the colors to this color named variable, so that's how I can do it. Now this is the code with which I will be able to fetch all the names of the colors from this color named column, right? Now once we are, see, now we are done with appending all the colors to this color named variable. How can we now get all the colors reflected as an option for this drop down tool? So for doing that, the best way is to make use of this set property block. So you can find it easily in the UI control section of the toolbox. You need to come down, and here you can find the set property block. Let's place it over here. Now the ID of this component is drop down 2, right? Let's replace it with drop down 2. Now what you're trying to do, you're trying to set the options for this drop down 2. So that's the reason we need to replace this with options. Okay, and now from where can we get the options for this drop down 2? From this color named list variable. So we need to copy this color from here and place it over here like this. Okay, so this is going to give us the desired output. Okay, now I am going to do the same thing for the other label boxes also, which I've defined on this colors named table. So what I'm going to do now, let's copy this whole code and paste it over here. Okay, now this uneven block, I would like this to define for this yellow named label box. So the only thing that I need to change is the ID over here, and the color will be now yellow. Okay, which will be added to this drop down 2, and we need not to create a duplicate of this whole code. Okay, you just have to create the copy of this thing. You don't have to do anything with this. Okay, every time a record is going to get created in this colors named table, this is the code which will get executed automatically. Now let's copy this whole thing and place it over here. What is the ID of this component? It is blue, so I'm replacing this one with blue, and let's make the required changes over here too. Okay, I need to change this thing also. Now the user is going to hear this thing. You added the yellow color successfully. You added the blue color successfully. Let's copy this thing and put it over here. What is the ID of this component? It is red, R in small, and here let's make the required changes. Okay, so I'm done with defining the required code for all the components which are present on this screen. Let's now come on this family named screen. Now how I have created this screen, that's what I would like to tell you first. So what you can do, you can type here family with house clip art. So these are a couple of good images you're going to come across. Okay, so you can make use of this one also. This is also a very beautiful image, right? You can go for this one too, right? This is also very good. Once you're done with that, you can import it in this Applab. Now, how I have created the view of this screen. So there are three different screens, which you see. Sorry, there are three different images which I have combined together. So the background image in which you're seeing the whole family, it is one image. Then on this image, I have placed this font family thing. So you just have to, what I have done, let me just select one image from here. Okay, let's go for this one. Fine, so I'm going to copy this first and let's paste it in this. Okay, this is a low resolution image. Let's select some other image. I think this is looking good. Let's copy it and paste it over here. And for eliminating this white space, you can reduce the size of this window. Now you can type here font family written. So you want to get a written form of this font family thing, not like this. Font family written. Okay, so these are a couple of images you're going to come across. Okay, if I will add this keyword to this whole sentence, let's see what are we going to get now. Okay, so this is also good. You can go for this one. This is also looking good, right? Or yep, you can go for this one. Let's copy this and paste it in a new paint box. I'm going to select this part of the image. Let's paste it over here. Right on the top I'm placing it. Now we are able to see a couple of options getting reflected over here. From where can you get these options? Let me help you with that. So what you have to do, you have to come here in this where is that font family property? Okay, we don't have that font family property for this image button. Let's select one of the label boxes which I've placed over here. So I think I'll be able to find that font property. Yeah, font family, sorry, not font property, font family. So what you have to do, you have to hit this drop down and see these are the options you're going to come across. Fine. And you can just hit print screen button for getting the snapshot of this screen. Then you can paste that snapshot using Ctrl and V together over here. After that, you can cut this whole rectangular shaped thing where all the options are getting reflected and paste it over here like this. So that's how you can create a beautiful font family screen, font family image, which you can use for giving a better look to this family named screen, right? So that's how I've created this screen. Now let's define the code for various components which are present on this screen named family. So for that we need to come on the coding panel first. And if you guys are liking and enjoying this lecture, do share the link of this video in your group so that more and more students can come and join this channel of mine and enjoy these free coding classes. I think my laptop is hanging. Just a second, let me close this window. Okay, now it is fine. Okay, now what are the different components we have on this screen? That's what I would like to tell you first. So we have this label box. We have this label box with ID Arial. I've placed it just over this part of the image. Then we have this label box with ID Georgia. Okay, so I've named these label box with different font family names, right? Then there is one label box with ID Palatino. Then there is one label box with ID Times. And if you want, you can define, some more label boxes for these options also. For now, I am going to just code these 4 label boxes. Let's come on this coding panel, start defining the code. So what I am going to do now, let's copy this whole thing. Okay, and I am going to paste it over here. And the idea of this component is Arial. The way we coded this app so as to fetch the colors in this drop down tool. In the same way, we are going to define the code for fetch the names of all the font families here in this drop down one. So what are the different changes that you have to make in this code we just copied and pasted over here in this workspace? Let's check it out. So the idea of this component is Arial. Let's replace this red with Arial. Now when the user will hit this Arial, I would like a table named font to get created automatically on the data browser. And here inside this, I would like to have a column with name font, and the value should be Arial. That should get automatically saved in this column named font as soon as the user will hit this Arial named button. Okay, you added the Arial font family successfully. So that's what the user is going to hear. Okay, and I would like to change it to male. So now it will be a male voice in which the user will be able to hear this whole thing. Okay, let's make the required changes in this on record event code also. So the first thing that we need to change is the name of the table. Let's change this colors to font. Now what is the event which is taking place in this font name table? So a record is getting created, right? So this has to be create only. We need not to make any changes over here. Read records. We would like to read the records from the font named table. Now this time let's make use of some other list type of variable. So I'm making use of font. It totally depends upon you. It is totally your call. What the name you want to define over here. What is the name you want to give to your variable? Okay, and now I am going to append all the items from this font named column, okay, to this font named collection variable. Now what is the idea of this drop down where I would like to see all the font families getting reflected? So the idea of the drop down is drop down 1. Let's replace it with drop down 1. Okay, and let's replace this color with the name of that variable in which all the font families are getting saved. Fine. So we are done with defining the required code for this for all the components which are there present on this colors name screen, for all the components which are there present on this family name screen, for all the components which are present on this screen, all the components which are present on this screen 1. Fine. Let's now check out whether the code that we have defined on in this workspace is going to give us the correct output or not. So I am going to run this app on 3 different browsers now, because it is a multi-device writing pad that we are trying to create in this app lab. Okay, so on this first screen I am going to access the colors panel. Okay, then on this second device, so this browser you have to assume as if it is a second device, and on this I'm going to access the family screen, and then I need to have one more browser on which I will be accessing the admin panel, or you can say the main screen. Let's see whether we'll be able to get the changes in real time on this. Whether we'll be able to see the changes on this main panel, which we are going to access on this third device in real time or not. So for accessing the colors panel, I need to write down color over here in this field as well as in this passport field also. Let's hit this login button and see what's gonna happen.
Welcome to Colors screen. You may add colors from here.
So I am done with accessing this colors name screen. Let's access the family name screen.
Welcome to family screen.
Perfectly fine.
You may add font
and
families
here
from
I am going to access the main panel, or you can say the admin panel. So for that we need to write down main M in capital in these two fields.
Welcome admin on the main screen.
So till now everything is working properly fine. Let's add some colors to this color drop down too. So for doing that we need to hit this ID of these label boxes which we have placed on this plate over here, right?
You added the green color successfully.
Okay, so green color is getting reflected over here. Okay, and everything is happening real time, right? Everything is happening in real time. Let's add yellow color.
You added the yellow color successfully.
Let's hit this drop down and see whether yellow has got added to this drop down or not. Yes, yellow is also there. What about red?
You added the red color successfully.
Okay, let's check out whether red is there in this option section of this drop down or not. Yes, red is also there. Amazing, right?
You added
And
the
as
blue
you can
color
see,
successfully.
blue is also now going to get reflected in this option section. Fine. Now let's hit this Arial named label box.
You added the Arial
Okay,
font
so
family
this
successfully.
font has been added successfully to this drop down over here. Okay, so everything is working perfectly fine. Now I'm going to close these 3 browsers and show you the tables which are there on the data browser connected to this app. So now there are 2 tables which you'll get to see over here. One is with name colors, in which you'll get to see the names of all the colors you have just added, and then there is one table named font where you will get to see the name of the font family you have just added. Right, let's now come back on this coding panel and define the code for the remaining label boxes which are there on this family named label box. So I'm going to copy this whole thing and put it over here. Now the idea of this second label box is Georgia. Let's replace this with Georgia. Everything is in small, right? Georgia, and font should be Georgia, which should get added to that drop down one. Let's copy this whole thing and paste it over here. Palatino is the name of the third label box. Palatino. Adding Palatino over here. Great, everything is going good. Don't forget to like and share the video in your groups, please, because it is going to benefit a lot of students who want to learn coding free of cost. Again, in case you want to learn high level of coding, you guys are most welcome to contact me on my number 9891665634. So I'm done with defining the code for these label boxes over here. Now I am going to come on this main panel. So now we have two drop downs, then there are four sliders, then there is one message box, and then there is one writing pad. Okay, so in the next lecture we are going to see how can we code these all components in such a way that we can get to see the required changes over here in this writing pad. For now, I am going to keep this lecture till this point only. Thank you very much for attending this lecture. Hope you guys enjoyed it a lot. Do share the link of this video in your group so that more and more students can come and join in. Okay, thank you very much and have a great day. Bye bye.